Welcome back. So, one of the last videos that I recorded was about 101 essentials for life. Last time we got to about 13 of them, and these are the ones that I love. Share in the comments which ones you want to live by. I felt like there were so many things that we know. Do the hard thing. That's the thumbnail of the video. That was one of them. Things that we know to do, but we don't do them. The idea is to start remembering. We have amnesia, we forget all the time. We need to be reminded. There are things that we know, that we've heard, but we know we need to apply in our lives, and we just don't do it. So this is my attempt to remember. Do the hard thing, damn it. We don't need more advice. We need to be aware. That's why I'm obsessed, because the only way that I can remember is through present moment awareness. To be present in the moment and to be aware of how I'm talking myself out of things, or how I'm talking myself into something that's not real, something that brings me anger, stress, jealousy, sadness, whatever. Okay, it all comes from here, from this chatter that's going on. Another one, don't let someone else's fears become your inner voice. A lot of times you'll talk to someone, maybe it's a coworker, your best friend, your parents, and they are in a mood. They're in some kind of dilemma. Don't let their fear become your fear. Don't let their anxiety become your anxiety. State is infectious, so we have to protect our state at all costs. The only way that that's possible is through being aware of how we are dealing with the situation. A lot of times people come into our lives and they will be complaining about something, or they'll say things that upset us. Oh my God, I remember I went somewhere and I remember talking to a girl I always see at this particular location where I go to, and we're friends, but she was complaining about the economy. And then I was like, oh, I wasn't even thinking about the economy. I was thinking about, everything's fine, no big deal. But the minute that she started talking about the economy and the prices are going up, I started taking on her anxiety. So what we need to do is we need to notice the shift within us. Are we taking on somebody else's problems as our own? Or can we neutralize that? So ask yourself, is this mine? Come back to the present. It's not mine. I didn't come in worried about the prices going up. I was fine. But the minute that she said that, I started to think and worry, and just, I took on her stuff. How do we deal with that? Everything I'm going to talk about is about awareness. Sorry to repeat myself, but it's true. If I'm aware of the dialogue that's going on in my mind, I am aware that she's saying something, I'm taking it in and I'm developing some more story around it, and it's seeping into me. So now my frequency is changing. So notice the minute that you start building a story off of somebody else's information, whatever they're feeding us, like she talked about the prices going up, and I started stressing about that, but that's not mine to carry. So I can return to myself. Just noticing it is enough. Noticing it and coming back to the present moment, coming back to the here and now, being aware that's not mine. That's not mine to carry. We can care without carrying it. I used to be afraid of interacting with other people because I didn't want to get what they had. I didn't want to be worried about the economy. I didn't want to worry about anything. I have enough worries of my own. I didn't want to worry about what they're worried about. But I do have this deep-seated feeling that I want to help other people. I want to help them. So we can care without carrying what they are carrying, right? We can be there and be present for another person as they go through something, and we can offer our own guidance, but we can only offer it from the present moment, not the story that we're building in the mind. So if she talked to me about the prices, I could share some insight about, I understand that the prices are going up. Maybe that's true. I haven't been paying attention, but I think that the more we focus on that, the more it appears in our lives. I'm sorry that might sound woo-woo for some people, but I think that what you focus on expands. If I tell you don't look for the green car, you're going to see a green car. Oh, I saw a green bus all of a sudden. So that's just the way the mind works. Our mind is like Google. So if you're going to tell me, oh my God, the prices are going up, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I haven't noticed. And then I'll start noticing it everywhere. And even if we do fall, meaning that we do take on somebody's fear as our own, we can always come back. We can always pick ourselves back up. A bad moment doesn't have to become a bad day. A bad moment, that moment doesn't have to become a bad day. So let's say I interacted with somebody, I got all up in this story, but then I can come back to the present moment and realize I can catch myself. And that's, again, the practice of meditation, is coming back to the present moment. Sometimes we get lost in the mind and we come back to the present moment. And when we come back to the present moment, that's the practice. So either you do it through meditation or you do it through present moment awareness all day long, which is if I interacted with her and I took on her story as my own, and I now notice it has affected me, I come back to the present moment. I bring awareness to that. I don't judge it. I don't beat myself up about it. I let it go and I start new. And I say I can always choose again. I can choose a different thought. That's really important. Another essential for me is adjust the plan, not the promise. What does that mean for me? I have this goal of working out, okay? Now, if I say, you know what, I'll do it every other day, 30 minutes of weight training. That's my goal right now. Now, if there's a day that I wake up and I'm like, wow, I'm not gonna have 30 minutes, but I do have 15 minutes. So I can adjust the plan, but not the promise. I can still do it. I could do 15 minutes. The previous version of me would be like, I don't have 30 minutes, so I'm not doing it today. And that would make me feel crappy the next day. Doing some of it still counts. The next one is my opinion matters most. Think what you want, but your opinion of yourself matters the most. If you don't love yourself, if you don't appreciate yourself, if you're not happy with who you are and who you're becoming, you're never going to be happy. Even if somebody else likes you, loves you, thinks you're the best, it doesn't really matter. What you think of yourself matters most. Oof. And that's one that it's taken me a long time to embody, and I'm still working on it. Still working on it. Don't abandon yourself to be accepted. It's related, but it takes on a different embodiment. So yes, what I think of myself matters most. That's one. So how does that differ from don't abandon yourself to be accepted? So the first one is, if you have goals in your life and you are a certain way, whatever, you have little quirks. I mean, I have lots of quirks. I'm definitely not like everyone else. And a lot of times I'll beat myself up about it and think, oh, I'm weird. I'm just weird. I have these little quirks. I do all these things that are a little bit different than other people. And some people have a hard time accepting that. But then I think about it, if I don't embody who I am in this moment, who I want to be, I'm not going to like myself. And my opinion of me matters the most, because how I feel influences the vibrations, the energy, the joy, influences how I show up in the world, influences everything, influences my mood, which is number one. Anyway, don't abandon yourself to be accepted. That's a different one. So what happens is sometimes you're in social settings and you might change the things you like, change the way you do certain things. It's okay. You don't want to be too strict. You can try new things. That's the next one. But I'm saying just don't abandon yourself for the sake of being accepted. Always wonder, why am I really doing this? Does it truly bring me joy? What is my intention? What is the why? Why do I want to go out tonight to a bar on the beach? Does that really bring me joy? Now I have to ask myself. Sometimes it might. Maybe the weather is nice. Maybe I can enjoy the clouds and the sky. In this moment, in this season of my life, I don't really feel like going and drinking on the beach. That doesn't appeal to me. So I'm not going to abandon myself to be accepted by others, because a lot of times we want other people's validation. We want other people's acceptance. And we have to ask ourselves, why are we doing this? Why do we want this? That's really important. Another thing to remember, that we are each unique in our own way. And bringing our uniqueness to the world is what makes it a better place. Now, if we were all the same, following the same algorithm, doing the same things, it loses its meaning. So bring your humanity to the table. Bring whatever makes you you. Don't compare yourself to others. There's only one of you, and you have to bring whatever you're called to bring in the moment. I'm not saying that you're not allowed to change and this is just the way you are. I'm saying that you have different qualities, different experiences, a different vibe that you bring at every given moment. What makes you you is your contribution. You don't want to be like everyone else. If everyone was the same, I don't know that it would be that interesting. I think spending time on our own to really figure out how do we feel about certain things, what makes us feel good. And even after an interaction, it's very important to come back to yourself and say, was I present? Did I enjoy myself? What brings me joy? What things are lighting me up in the season of my life? And you'll get an answer. And you have to follow that. Follow your curiosity, follow your joy. Let that joy lead the way. Let that be your guiding light. And stop overthinking it and thinking, but I can't do what makes me happy. I need to make a living. Just do what brings you joy when you can. When we can do what brings us joy in our free time, and we'll make the free time, even if it's 5 to 10 minutes a day, you'll make the free time to do that little thing that brings you joy. And you will see the more you do that, it will expand. And then we're going to work on whatever we are doing. Even if we don't like cleaning the toilet, we will put on some music, jazz ourselves up, get in the mood of cleaning that toilet so that you're enjoying yourself. I know that sometimes things are going to get tough. I get it. I'm not saying be hyper excited, okay? I don't want to be unrealistic, but I do want you to understand that you have some control over how you feel. I mean, this is really important. So remember, follow your curiosity and recognize what brings you joy and do a little bit more of that each day. I think that's quite realistic. But then also don't be realistic. That's a little side note. Let's not be realistic, but let's keep it realistic for right now. Don't turn your identity into a cage. Give yourself permission to change. All right, I love this one. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that don't be so rigid about this is what I like and this is what I don't like. And then you're going to put yourself in a cage. It's going to suck because you're going to have all these rigid rules and you won't find a way out. Okay. So you got to remain somewhat open. The reason why I do this is that I am an extremist. So you tell me, follow my joy, I'm only following my joy. But the thing is that doesn't really leave room for anything new to come in. So we don't want to turn this identity into a cage. We want to embrace the idea that we are human beings and that we have different energy every day. We have seasons of our lives where we enjoy one thing, we change, we fluctuate. Also, this entire world changes and fluctuates. We have to be somewhat flexible, but we do have to honor our joy and our curiosity in that moment, in that season of life. Be creative with whatever you're doing and try to find what part of this project am I curious about? If I'm given a job and I have to do something, what about that am I curious about? What about that can I find the most joy in? Focus on that area so that you can push through even the things that you don't like doing. Give yourself permission to change. So, like I said, we have different seasons, we have different moods. In different seasons of our lives, we are changing all the time. So at one point in your life, you may have liked one thing. At another point, you may have been into something else. But I do promise you that there's probably some theme going on that is your signature. But I don't want you to cage yourself into an identity. I wouldn't do that. I think that creates a lot of suffering. If I decide that this is the one thing that I want to do and I'm not going to move from that, I'm going to suffer because I'm going to see how nothing will fit into the little box that I've created for myself. Okay, this one. Go outside or at least sit next to the window. If you're going to be inside, you have to be inside. Sit next to the window. If you can open the window, if there's good air outside, if there's a breeze, even the hum of traffic gets you in touch with the present moment. I just came back, but it was too hot. I did see the beautiful plants and the trees and the sky, and it was fun. I did do that for myself because I was thinking about this, that one of the essentials is you need to go outside. Try to go outside at least once a day, please. All right, I'll be putting up today's essentials so you can take a snapshot if you'd like. If you have something that you already know, but you need to remember more often, comment that below. And I look forward to hearing from you. Please follow along. This channel is all about developing a stronger sense of awareness in order to create positive change and fulfillment. So take what helps, subscribe for more.